This video will cover how to fill out the homestead exemption form. This form can be used in other counties in Texas, and for this video, we are focusing on Bexar County. This form is used if you own and live in your property and you have not already applied for the homestead exemption. Once you apply for this exemption, you do not need to reapply, and the exemption will continue if you live in the property. This form is also used to obtain additional exemptions if you have turned the age of 65 or have a new disability. If you're not sure if you have your exemptions already or would like a copy of this form, go to bcad.org, and if you're not sure how to navigate the site, there will be a video in the comments that explains how to do so. The form we will be using on this video with the highlights can be found on mycityismyhome.com on the HECHO page. The highlights are going to be the most used on this form generally for homeowners. Let's now focus on the form. First, you do not need to fill out the appraisal account number if you don't know it. Just leave it blank. Next, you check yes for do you own and live in the property for which you are seeking this residential exemption. Next, for tax year, put the year you began occupying the home. If you have lived in the home for multiple years, the county will only go back 2 years and pay you for any overages, but you can still input the year you moved in and let the county do the math. Next, you can choose which type of exemption you're applying for, and you can select multiple. General residence homestead exemption applies to anyone that owns and lives in their home. To claim this exemption, you just need this form completed and a copy of your Texas license with the address you're claiming your homestead on. For the disabled persons exemption, which is for somebody that has a disability and receives disability insurance benefits like SSDI. To claim this exemption, you just need this form completed, your ID as noted before, and your Social Security disability letter. For the persons age 65 and older exemptions, you can apply on the year you turn 65, and you do not need to wait for the actual day that to apply. To claim this exemption, you just need this form completed, your ID as already noted before, since it has your birth date on it. For the 100% disabled veteran exemption, this is for permanent disabilities. To claim this exemption, you just need to fill out this form, your ID as noted before, your DD 214, and the VA benefits letter showing you have the 100% VA designation. There are more exemptions, but this is the most used. If there's additional questions on these exemptions, you can reach out to us, which our contact information will be in the comments, or contact the appraisal district. After you selected your exemptions you would like to apply for, the majority of homeowners would be selecting no for cooperative housing. And this video is focusing on those who have never applied for the homestead exemption. So if this is the case for you, the next 3 questions will also be no. Were you receiving a homestead exemption for your previous residence? Are you transferring the exemption from a previous residence? Are you transferring a tax limitation? Again, if you have any questions on these, contact the appraisal district. Moving to section 2, simply fill out the information if you're single or married, your name, your date of birth, your license number. No need to put your Social Security number if you have a Texas license. Put your primary phone number, your email address if you have one, and the percentage of home ownership, which for the majority of you will be 100%. And of course, if you have a spouse or co-owner, you fill out their information just the same. And if your mailing address is different, make sure you type in your mailing address here. For section 3, put in the date you became the owner of the property, and then put the date you began living in the property. Put the address you are applying for the homestead exemption for which you own and live in. You do not need to worry about the legal description if you do not know it. It can be found on bcad.org if you look up your property's information, but is not necessary. In most cases, you would select yes, that you are on the deed, and if you do not know the filing number, you can leave it blank, or again, go to bcad.org, look up your property, which should have the deed number. Again, the video I mentioned before will show you how to find it. If the answer is no, then this property may be considered an heirs property, which is a property owned by one or more individuals where at least one owner claims the property as their residence homestead. And the property was acquired by a will, a transfer on death deed, or in some cases where the original homeowner passed away and then without a will. In these cases, the heir property owner must provide an affidavit establishing their ownership interest of the property, a copy of the prior property owner's death certificate, a copy of the property owner's most recent utility bill, and a citation of a court recording relating to the applicant's ownership of the property if it's available. Each heir property owner who occupies the property as a principal residence other than the applicant must provide an affidavit that authorizes the submission of this application. If you are having issues with this and have more questions on heirs properties and obtaining ownership, please contact us for further details and support. On the next page, this part is for if your home is a manufactured home, and the majority of you should be selecting no if any portion of the property for which you're claiming a residence homestead exemption is income producing. Majority of you, that should be no. And for this part, you can also leave it blank. This is more so if you live on land that you are also using for other purposes like farm and ranch. Section 4, you can skip. This section is mainly for those who are unable to obtain a license with their address on it for specific reasons. Majority of homeowners can skip this section. Section 5 is if you own properties in different counties, majority of homeowners can also skip this section. Section 6 is the last one. Print your full name of the property owner. If there are multiple owners that live on the property, only one needs to print their name here. This part here can be left blank. And then finally, you just sign and date it. You can now mail this form to the appraisal district and all the needed documents depending on which exemption you're claiming. You can also scan all the documents and send it by email. We prefer by email if you're able to, as you can get an automatic reply confirming that the appraisal district has received the email. We hope this video has been helpful to you, and please reach out to us if you have any questions. Thank you.